I'm 85 years old, 85, and in all those years, through every hard season this country has lived through, I have watched one kind of person never go away, the thief. He has followed me my whole life, and every single year he has gotten better at his work. He used to come to the front door in a cheap suit, selling something that didn't exist. Then he came in the mail with a letter that looked official. Now he doesn't come to your door at all. He comes through that little phone sitting on the table right next to you. He never has to look you in the eye. And he can reach 1,000 people our age before he's finished his morning coffee. I'm going to tell you about 5 of them today. 5 scams that are emptying the bank accounts of people just like you and me right now, this month, in towns no bigger than mine. These are the ones taking the savings that folks spent 50 years building, gone in a single afternoon. And at the very end, after you've seen all 5, I'm going to give you the one setting, one simple thing you can do this very afternoon, sitting right where you are, that quietly locks the door behind all 5 of these thieves at the same time. It is the most powerful protection I know of, and almost nobody our age has turned it on. But it will only make sense to you after you understand the 5. So you stay with me all the way to the end. Promise me that. And before you tell yourself that this could never happen to you, that you're too sharp, too careful, let me say something plainly, because it matters. The sharpest people I have ever known got caught. A retired school teacher who corrected everybody's grammar. A man who ran his own business for 40 years and never missed a payment. My own neighbor who balanced her checkbook to the penny every single month of her life. Every one of them got fooled. They didn't get fooled because they were foolish. They got fooled because the thief knew exactly which feeling to reach for. And once he has your feeling, your good sense never even gets a turn. Let me show you how it works. The first one is the cruelest of all, because it doesn't use a stranger against you. It uses the people you love. A woman lived 2 doors down from me for 30 years. I'll call her Eleanor. A good woman, sharp as a tack, raised 4 children on a teacher's salary. One night, close to midnight, her phone rang. She told me later her heart jumped, the way it does at that hour, because a call that late is never good news. It was her grandson, crying. He told her he'd been in a terrible car accident, that it was his fault, that he'd been arrested, and that he was sitting in a jail cell scared out of his mind. He needed bail money, fast, before morning. And then he said the thing that sealed it. He begged her, "Please, Grandma, don't tell Mom and Dad. I can't have them know." It was his voice, his exact voice, the little catch in it when he was upset, the way he'd always said Grandma since he was 3 years old. Eleanor didn't sleep a minute that night. She was standing outside the bank the next morning before the doors even opened, ready to hand over everything she had. Now here is what I need you to understand, and it frightens me more than anything else I'm going to tell you today. These thieves can now copy a voice. They take a few seconds of someone talking, from a video posted online, from a little birthday message a grandchild sent, and a machine builds a fake that sounds exactly like the person you love. So when that call comes, and it's their voice, and it's the middle of the night, and they are frightened and begging, your heart takes the wheel before your head ever wakes up. That's the trick. It was never about fooling your mind. It was about flooding your heart so fast there's no room left to think. So here is what you do, and this is the one I want you to carry with you. If you ever get that call, you hang up. You do not stay on the line, no matter how much they plead. You hang up, and you call your grandchild back yourself on the real number you already have saved. 9 times out of 10, you'll find them home, safe, sound asleep, with no idea any of this happened. And this week, not someday, this week, you sit down with your family and you agree on a private word, a family password, something only your real people would ever know. Then if a voice on the phone is ever in trouble and begging, you ask for the word. If they can't say it, it is not your family. It is a thief wearing their voice like a mask. But even a family password won't protect you from the second one, because the second one doesn't pretend to be someone you love. It pretends to be something even bigger. It pretends to be the government itself. There's a gentleman at my church I'll call Harold, 81, a deacon, the kind of man who pays his taxes early just to be safe. One afternoon his phone rang and a stern, official-sounding voice told him that his Social Security number had been suspended. Suspended because of suspicious activity linked to his name. He was told that if he didn't act right then, his benefits would be cut off, and that there was a warrant, and that officers were already on their way to his home. Harold worked 51 years for those benefits. He told me the fear came up in him so fast he felt it in his hands. They kept him on that line for nearly an hour, and he very nearly did everything they asked. Now you hear me, and you hear me well. Your Social Security number cannot be suspended. That is not a thing that exists. It cannot happen. The government does not call you out of the blue. It does not threaten you over the telephone. It does not tell you that police are coming unless you fix something in the next 10 minutes. And it most certainly never asks you to keep your money safe by handing it over. Real agencies send you a letter. They give you weeks. They give you a way to check. They do not make your heart pound, because making your heart pound is the whole point of the call. So when that voice comes on, cold and official and urgent, you do exactly what you did with the first one. You hang up. You do not press 1. You do not confirm a single thing. You set the phone down and you let your heartbeat come back to normal. And here is the rule that ties these together. The moment any caller makes you feel that cold rush of fear, that is not an emergency. That is the signal. Fear is the crowbar they use to pry open your good judgment. When you feel it, the safest thing your hand can do is end the call. The third one is quieter than the first two, and that is exactly what makes it so dangerous, because it never scares you at all. It does the opposite. It pretends to be on your side. There was a woman in my town named Doris, 82 years old, living alone in the house she'd shared with her husband for 50 years, like so many of us do now. One morning, she got a call from her bank's fraud department. The people on the line were so kind, so patient. They told her that someone was trying to steal her savings and that they had caught it just in time, and that to keep her money completely safe, they would help her move it into a new, secure account they'd set up just for her. Doris was grateful. She told me later she actually felt relieved that after all these years, somebody was finally watching out for her. She followed every instruction. She moved $18,000. It was gone by the next morning, and so were the people who had been so very kind. Here is how this one works, and you must understand it, because it's everywhere now. The thieves can make your telephone screen show your bank's real name, the real number, everything. They sound calm and professional, never rushed, because rushing would tip you off. And then they say the one sentence that sounds exactly like safety, but is always, every single time, the robbery itself. They tell you to move your money to protect it. So carve this into your memory. Your bank will never call you and ask you to move your money. Never. No real bank, no real fraud department anywhere will ever ask you to transfer your savings into another account to keep it safe. That request, no matter how kind the voice, no matter how real the number looks, is the thief. Every time. When you get that call, you hang up, and you call the number printed on the back of your own bank card, and you speak only to the people you reached by calling them yourself. And I'll tell you now, that one setting I promised you at the start would have saved Doris even after all of this. But hold on, you need the last two first, because the fourth one goes after something nearly every single one of us has. It goes after our Medicare. A good friend of mine got a cheerful little call one day. The voice told him that new Medicare cards were going out to everyone, and that they just needed to confirm his number so they could send him his. It seemed so ordinary, so harmless. There was nothing frightening about it at all. He had his card right there in his wallet, and he very nearly read the number out loud just to be helpful. But Medicare will not call you to ask for your number. They already have it. They gave it to you. Anyone who calls to confirm your Medicare number or your Social Security number or your bank details is phishing, throwing out a friendly line, hoping you'll bite. And your Medicare number, in the wrong hands, turns into thousands of dollars of fake medical bills and false claims filed in your name, the kind of mess that can take years to untangle. So you treat that number like cash money. You would never read your bank account number aloud to a stranger who called you, and your Medicare number deserves the very same protection. If anyone calls asking for it, the answer is no. You hang up, and if you have any question at all, you call Medicare yourself, on the number printed on your own card. The friendly ones are not always the safe ones. Sometimes the friendly voice is just the thief who learned that kindness opens more doors than fear. And the fifth one, the last one, comes in through the very screen you might be watching me on right this minute. A man I knew named Frank told me his computer froze up one afternoon. The whole screen went blue, then a big red warning filled it up. A virus, it said. Your computer is infected. Call this number immediately for help. So Frank called. A very kind technician answered, calm and reassuring, and asked if he could connect to Frank's computer from his end to fix it. And Frank, not knowing any better, said yes. The man poked around for a while, then announced he'd found the problem, and that the repair would cost $300, paid oddly in gift cards, from the store right down the road. Frank drove to that store. He bought the gift cards. He came home and read the numbers off the back of them, one by one, over the phone. And the very second he finished, his money was gone. And gift card money, once it's read aloud to a thief, is gone forever. There is no bank to call. There is no getting it back, not $1. So remember just two things, and this one can never touch you. First, a real warning on your computer screen will never, ever give you a phone number to call. That is not how computers work. That number is the bait. And second, write this one on the wall if you have to. No honest company on this earth will ever ask to be paid in gift cards. Not the computer people, not the government, not your bank, not the electric company. The moment any voice tells you to go buy gift cards and read off the numbers, you are speaking with a thief, with no exception ever. You hang up. You turn the computer off and back on, and you'll find it's perfectly fine. The fear on that screen was a painted picture, nothing more. Now, the thing I promised you all the way back at the beginning. You've seen all 5 of them now. The fake grandchild crying in the night, the fake government with its threats, the kind fake banker telling you to move your money, the cheerful fake Medicare call, the fake repairman and his gift cards. And you might be sitting there thinking you have to remember every one of these perfectly forever and never let your guard slip even once. That is a heavy thing to ask of anyone at any age. So let me give you the one setting that does the heavy lifting for you. Even on the day you're tired, even on the day they catch you at a weak moment. Freeze your credit. You contact all 3 credit bureaus. They're called Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion, by phone or on their websites, and you place a freeze on your credit file. It costs you nothing. It is free by law. It is your right, and you can lift it yourself anytime you actually need to, like when you're buying a car or a home. Here is why it is the one setting that locks every door at once. Even if a thief gets your name, your number, every last detail about you, with your credit frozen, he cannot open a single new account, credit card, or loan in your name. Most of these scams end with the thief trying to become you. The freeze makes that impossible. The lock isn't on one phone call, it's on the whole house, and it stands guard while you're asleep. So you do that one thing this week, and while you're at it, you add the two small things I already gave you. You agree on a family password with the people you love. That's your deadbolt against the midnight calls. And you turn on the setting in your phone called Silence Unknown Callers, so that the strangers don't even get through to ring in the first place. That's your porch light, keeping them off the steps entirely. The credit freeze is the heavy steel door. Those two are the lock and the light beside it. I have lived 85 years, and in those years I have watched good people, careful people, smart people, people far sharper than they ever gave themselves credit for, lose what they spent a lifetime building. Not because they were foolish, never that, but because somebody reached in and pulled on their fear, or their love, or their plain human kindness, and pulled hard. If you have ever come close to falling for one of these, you are not a fool. You are a person with a heart. That heart is the most beautiful thing about you, and it is exactly what they aim for. But you don't have to carry the worry alone anymore. Make those 3 calls and freeze that file. Agree on your family word. Turn on your phone's quiet setting, and then pick up the phone the right way on a number you trust, and tell your children and your grandchildren everything you learned here today. Because when you protect them, you protect yourself too. The strongest families are the ones who talk about this out loud at the kitchen table before the thief ever calls. It is never too late to lock the door. Not at 70, not at 80, not at 85. I am living proof of that, and so are you. If this helped you today, do me one small kindness. Go ahead and subscribe so I can keep sharing what these 85 years have taught me, and so you never miss the next warning before it reaches your door. And then tell me down in the comments, which of these 5 calls have you already gotten? Just say the number. Your story, sitting right there for someone else to read, might be the very thing that stops a stranger from losing everything next week. I'll be reading. Take care of yourself and take care of each other.